Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Music for the Mind. And we're talking with some of the artists of the songs for Music for the Mind. Tonight, we have Frank Williams, Marty B, and Guy Godin. Godin. Sorry, I said it wrong. And of course, we have Mr. Music for New Brunswick, Bob Mersereau, as our host tonight, who's going to be talking to our musicians about the song that they've submitted to Music for the Mind. And for people that don't know and haven't seen our other videos, Music for the Mind is a CD that the Canadian Mental Health Association of New Brunswick has been producing over the past year. We put a call out to musicians, singers, songwriters, people who maybe just write music or write lyrics in their basement or in their bedroom or at their kitchen table, and about their mental health journeys. And we thought that there's a lot of people out there that kind of pen their stories, and we wanted to find those people. So we put the call out, and it was answered in droves. And from those people that entered, we narrowed it down, and we have a 12-song album called Music for the Mind. And tonight we're going to feature our artists Frank Williams, Marty B, and Guy Godin. So I'll hand it over to Bob Mersereau, and Bob is well known on the music industry here, and he's written several books on music, including one called The Top 100 Canadian Albums, which was a bestseller. And so, with Bob interviewing everyone here tonight, it was just a logical choice as he is Mr. Music. Over to you, Bob.
Thanks, Lori. Hi, guys. Thanks for the tune. It's great.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
thank you.
Now you've all got lots of experience, but how did you all get together on this? Marty, let's start with you on that one. How did everybody come together for this project?
Well, we came together for the project of the song actually through another project that we started together, and it's a project called Three Men's Journey. So it's actually a live show that kind of talks about the trials and tribulations of life and things that we all can go through, throughout our life. And it's done like in a conference setting. So we do schools and soft theater auditoriums and all kinds of great events and great shows. And this actually brought upon this song that I had written coming out of a very long 3-year depression. And it was kind of my way out of the depression, actually. It was the way out of sort of my way of talking about it was the way that I started by writing. And then this song came out, and then it kind of broke through a few songs and ended up in an album. And then at one point, I knew Frank was working in mental health, and he had a real big passion about that as well. And Guy and I were friends. So it kind of all came together in this whole project. And I said to Frank, we have to record this song together and use it as a song that we can kind of carry with us throughout this journey of Three Men's Journey. So
right. So, Frank, what do you do in the show? What's is it kind of a seminar, or is it a music production, or?
We call it a musical conference. It's basically a mix, say a pretty equal mix, 50-50 of music and stories. So basically it's personal stories, sharing our own personal struggles, either with anxiety, depression, bullying. And the songs kind of tie into the stories. They're not just out of the blue songs. If we're talking about bullying, we have like a song that's kind of more towards that. Depression, we have a few songs about depression, whether it's the French conference or the English conference. So but yeah, basically it's a mix of personal stories mixed in with some good music. It's a fun show. You can laugh, you can cry. And essentially the goal is that people leave the show.
Oops, you froze there for a second.
Oh, am I back?
Okay.
All right,
laughed, you cry.
Yeah, and the goal is that people leave just being aware that it's okay, it's normal not to be okay, kind of, and that you have to talk about it. See, our reflex is to hide and be quiet, and we're ashamed. But our goal is to make it normal and make it okay to talk about it, kind of casual to talk about it. We're just three guys kind of sitting in the living room with our guitars. That's kind of the concept of the show, and we're just kind of talking about how we feel.
Right. Guy, how did you end up with these guys, and why did you want to climb on board?
Well, being a musician for a while now, I've had the honor to play with many people, and one of them was Marty and one of his previous bands. And we got bond that way and started talking about mental health, how he was going through a rough time. And, as being with a visual deficiency, I lived a rough time when I was younger too, through bullying and all kinds of stories in schools and stuff. And now I just wanted to talk about it and see other young people, the young generation that has differences, like physical differences or appearing differences, and that are getting bullied because of it. So I really want to talk to these people, and that's what we do nowadays in schools and through shows. We talk to a lot of people, and that's how, well, it all started with Marty, and then we started talking to Frank, and there's a friendship that struck there so easily, and we're so comfortable to being on stage together and sharing stories and playing music, right? And I just love the ride, and it's awesome, and we're still doing it nowadays, so we must like it, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. Marty, how effective is it to have this kind of conversation, especially with young people, and use song to get across what you're doing? Why is music so important?
It's been unbelievable, the experience in a whole. Also, with the adults. So both kind of realms are as interesting as the other. The conversations we're having after the shows with some of these people attending the shows, and also the young kids. Surprisingly, the young kids are approaching us after the shows and telling us some pretty deep stuff. And gladly, I'm well accompanied with Frank and Guy, who both studied in university and finished their programs in university. So in the mental health realm, psychology, social services, social work. So basically, I'm well accompanied with them, and they're obviously able to help us, guide anybody through the right channels. But it's been super interesting. And I think the music brings out the emotion, right? The music completes that wheel, that spinning of energy that is being exchanged between the crowd and us. And so it kind of wraps those stories up with a little bow and adds a little emotion to the show. So I think it naturally opens people up. So it's been a cool journey so far.
Yeah. Frank just mentioned you have a background in let's see, I think you're a nurse, right?
For me, I'm a nurse.
Yeah. So it's, the parallels are pretty obvious here, but why is this such a good method of healthcare?
For me, honestly, what I do at the hospital is more treatment, but I think there's a lot more that can be done by prevention. Before you get to the treatment part, before you get fully on sick, I think there's a lot of prevention that can be done, which is done exactly by what we're doing. Talking about it, normalizing, helping people identify with whatever they're living. Sometimes people are living anxiety or depression, and they don't really know. They think it's just kind of life being life. And then when they see the show or something, then they're like, oh my God, that's kind of how I've been feeling. So anyways, I think it's important to do prevention, to exactly help lower or just help, help the society in general with mental health. Therapy in a hospital is important, and I like doing that, but doing prevention and being in the community is something I love even more, I think.
Yeah. And we've got you on that side. Now we have a psychologist too in the ranks. So you're well covered in the in that. How does that training fall into doing a show like this?
Yeah, fortunately, I got some studies in psychology. I might not be a psychologist per se, but I do have studies in that field, as well as social work, which is where we do a lot of prevention. But this is preventing by spreading the awareness of mental health challenges that people do have uh, in everyday situations, right? So for me, this is reaching to a wide audience. It is great what people are doing in hospitals. I really appreciate the work of psychologists, social workers as well, that are working one-on-one, case by case, which helping the people that needs that accompany, need to be accompanied. But for sure, the awareness is something that is very important, and very important to kids too nowadays. They got to know what mental health is. What is a healthy, psychological state to be in? Just being well, right? So it's that's why I'm very happy to be part of this project, to do that.
Yeah.
To send that message to society. Yeah.
Let's talk about the song, which English, I guess it's called "The Enemy." Marty, it's one of yours, eh?
Well, yeah, it's a song that I wrote literally, like I was mentioning earlier, coming out of a 3-year depression. And trust me, I never thought that I would actually live a 3-year depression, and in the depth that I went into that depression. I never would have thought that I would have experienced that. I mean, anxiety or panic attacks, that's one thing. Being lonely or a little sad, but to really be in a deep depression, it made me alert. Coming out of it, it made me alert of how difficult it can be for somebody without the proper support system, or somebody that really feels that they're at the end of the line and they don't have anybody to talk to, et cetera, et cetera. So when I was in that moment, that song came out. At that point, I was writing about somebody. I had somebody in mind, let's just say, when I was writing this song, because I really felt that event had really changed my life and made it, of course, where I was in that dark period. But eventually it really became a song about the enemy being sometimes, the triggers in a daily life, or just life in general, sometimes the way not making the bills or whatever the case may be, right? So the enemy can feel like an enemy when you're feeling trapped and sorry for yourself, I guess. And sometimes you don't know how to get out of it, and you don't really, you kind of ask somebody to help you and to help guide you, and it's hard to find your way. So that's kind of what the song essentially talks about. And it's a little bit of a dark song for sure, but I think once in a while you need to really feel that depth, like I say, of a sad moment or a depression, to be able to just let that emotion out. And then, of course, some people have definitely connected with the song because they've been there as well. So,
yeah. Well, the three of you have been able to share this message through the show, and now really happy that you've been able to share with us as well on this new CD. So thank you much for sending it along. It's a really powerful tune, and great to see all of you.
Thanks for including it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And a huge thanks to the Canadian Mental Health Association for taking this project on. We know that it's a lot of work to put into this, and my hat goes off to you guys.
Well, thank you for that, Marty. You guys all talked about awareness, about prevention, and you guys are living examples that, recovery from a mental health issue or a mental illness is absolutely possible. Music for the Mind is exactly, why we came up with the concept to do this, is to spread awareness, to break down that stigma, so the lyrics of your songs can actually, help people connect with them, to know that they're not alone. Because often, as we all know, because I went through my own mental health conditions, and you think that you're the only one in the world that's kind of experiencing that. You feel alone, you feel scared, and we're not alone, and the songs that we've chosen for Music for the Mind will resonate with people of all genres, people of diversity, people of all ages. And so I really thank you from the Canadian Mental Health Association, guys, for donating your song, for volunteering your time with us on other occasions. I've had the pleasure of seeing your Three Men's Journey show at our Women Wellness event in Moncton last February before COVID started, and it was moving, and it was very obvious that the audience felt moved and touched by your show as well. So I thank you so much for everything that you've done with us and for your song here tonight. And Bob, thank you for volunteering your time and helping me through this musical journey for mental health.